cold stadium, 2 rookie quarterbacks, 1 wild finish, and a decision that will be talked about in Cleveland long after the scoreboard turns off. Shedeur Sanders exploded for the best game of his young career, 23 of 42 for 364 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, a rushing score, and 1 interception, pushing the Browns to a 31-29 final against the Tennessee Titans. Those numbers weren't just big, they put him in the record books. Sanders joined Aaron Rodgers as the only quarterbacks since 2000 with 4 completions of 50-plus yards in their first 3 career starts. ClevelandBrowns.com. The first half felt like a reveal. Sanders carved the defense with a 60-yard touchdown to Jerry Jeudy and moved with a calm that you don't expect from a 5th-round rookie who only just climbed the depth chart. The offense, when it clicked, looked dangerous. Explosive shots, timing on the deep ball, and a quarterback willing to throw into tight windows. On paper, this was the tape that makes front offices sleep a little easier. The big lead. But the NFL is not a highlight reel league. It's a ledger of tiny moments that compound. In the 3rd quarter, Sanders made a back-breaking mistake, an ill-advised throw after drifting out of the pocket that was picked off and converted into a Titans touchdown. That turnover swung momentum the other way and set the table for a frantic 4th quarter. The lesson was stark and old as the game. Big plays give you hope, turnovers take it away. Fox Sports. Fox Sports the 4th, Sanders did what he had been doing all afternoon. He led 2 clutch touchdown drives, including a scramble for a 7-yard rushing score to cut the margin to 2 points with 1:03 left. The stadium leaned in. The natural reaction, the simplest script, would have been to put the ball back in your hottest player's hands and let him try to tie it. Instead, Cleveland went another direction. Head coach Kevin Stefanski removed Sanders from the field and dialed up a Wildcat 2-point try, a direct snap to running back Quinshon Judkins that stalled in chaos and fell incomplete. The Titans held on 31-29. New York Post. You can feel the heat from a decision like that on the same day it's made. Fans went ballistic. Social feeds filled with incredulous replays. Even Sanders' family fired off public frustration. Stefanski, for his part, didn't hide behind coaching jargon. He told reporters he made the call, it didn't work, and he accepted the responsibility. I'm responsible for all of it. He declined to walk listeners through every X and O, but his ownership of the mistake is as blunt as it gets in pro sports. ESPN.com. From a coaching perspective, there are arguments for trickery, unpredictability, exploiting a weakness, or setting up an onside kick look. From a quarterback development angle, the logic is weirder. You bench the player who just engineered 2 late touchdown drives and keep him from even attempting the tying play. That gap between decision and intuition is where narratives are born and where trust between franchise, coach, and quarterback gets tested. BleacherReport.com, what did Sanders say? Classy and measured. He confirmed the club had practiced the play and that he trusts the staff's decisions. He avoided public drama and pointed to building chemistry and progress. That response matters. A rookie who keeps his cool in the chaos earns trust in the locker room, even as the internet rages. SI Now, the practical aftermath. The Browns dropped another game and their record tumbled. The loss keeps their season trajectory bleak and forces bigger questions about direction and timing. For Stefanski, it's a coaching moment that will be referenced in contract season conversations and fan hot takes. For the front office, the paradox increases. Do you finally commit to the player lighting up highlight reels in short flashes, or do you prioritize roster fixes and traditional safety for next spring's draft calculus? Those decisions carry salary cap and identity consequences. ClevelandBrowns.com, and for Shedeur, this was both a spotlight and a classroom. He proved he can push the ball deep and orchestrate late drives. He also learned, publicly, that pocket discipline and decision-making are non-negotiable in the NFL. Plenty of elite quarterbacks had days that looked like this early in their careers. Flashes of heaven, a brutal mistake, and then a string of corrections in the film room. The true test will be how fast he adjusts and whether Cleveland builds the environment around him to let that improvement stick. The big lead. If you're a Browns fan, this is the mood. Stunned curiosity. You want the kid to succeed because his arm and moxie are real. You worry because the team keeps making self-inflicted wounds. If you're a coach, this is a Rorschach test. Do you trust your rookie in the most meaningful moments, or do you prioritize contrarian play calling that, when it fails, looks cowardly in retrospect? Here's the tight ending, the image that hangs. Shedeur, having just driven his team to within 2 points, watching from the sideline as a trick play he didn't run unravels. That picture will define headlines, podcasts, and locker room whispers for a while. But the quieter image, the one that matters if you want long-term answers, is this. Sanders in a film room the next morning, pointing at a replay of his interception and working until the mistake doesn't repeat. Football's currency is brutal and unforgiving. One decision can turn a breakout into a controversy, and one kid's maturity can turn controversy into a foundation. Cleveland has to decide which it prefers, churn or construction. Either way, Sunday turned a rookie's highlight tape into a crossroads for a franchise. He plants the throw, the crowd explodes, and for a few electric minutes, Cleveland believes it's watching a rookie salvage a season. Shedeur Sanders ripped off his best performance in a Browns uniform. 364 yards through the air, 3 passing touchdowns, plus a rushing score. And he drove the team from despair back to a heartbeat away from a tie. Brown zone with Scott Petrak. Then the team walked into a silence of its own making. After Sanders' late touchdown to Harold Fannin Jr., Kevin Stefanski pulled the hot hand and sent the Browns out in Wildcat for the 2-point try. A direct snap to Quinshon Judkins, a planned flip to rookie Gage Larvadain. It fell apart immediately. Judkins missed the exchange. Larvadain and the runners were not on the same page, and the moment evaporated. The Titans held on, 31-29. New York Post. The simplest, sharpest line came from Stefanski in the locker room. I'm responsible for all of it. He didn't hide behind X's and O's or offer a timeline of why the plan changed. He owned the call and its consequences. That admission only amplified the questions, not about one play, but about judgment at the highest pressure moment. ESPN.com. It's easy to reduce the moment to blame and outrage on social feeds. The larger, nastier lesson is organizational. You bench the man who just ripped 2 late scoring drives out of the jaws of defeat, and you ask 2 rookies to execute a touchdown or bust trick on the game's biggest snap. Fans and analysts ask the same awkward question in unison. Was this a genuine best chance call or a miscalculation that betrayed momentum? The optics were brutal, and the pushback was loud and immediate. Outkick Sanders' reaction matters almost as much as the failed play. He didn't throw teammates under the bus. He didn't make the sideline a soapbox. He said he always wants the ball, acknowledged he'd love to be in that spot, then made the mature pivot. The team practiced the play. It failed today, and he stands behind the call. That sort of calm, after a night of raw emotion and a near miraculous comeback, is the leadership tape coaches covet, even when the scoreboard stings. Talk sport. The immediate fallout is practical. The Browns drop another close game and lose not just in the standings, but in forward momentum. The league notices. So do opponents. A rookie's revival arc now sits next to a clip that will be replayed in scouting rooms and in talk shows for days. The kid with the rocket arm and the coach who pulled him when the house was on the line. Athlonsports.com. What comes next is predictable and urgent. Film rooms will dig into the 2-point script. Practice reps will be multiplied for trick exchanges, and the staff will answer awkward questions about play calling and trust. For Shedeur, the job is simple and brutal. Learn fast, keep producing, and let the tape of his throws drown out the clip of him watching from the sideline. For Stefanski, the fix is harder. Earn back unquestioned confidence by letting the team's next decisions look less like moments of error and more like evidence of a clear, consistent plan. NBC Sports, in the end, football writes in small margins. One coach's choice, one botched exchange, one defensive stand. They add up into seasons. Cleveland's narrative twisted on Sunday. A rookie announced himself and a coach accepted the fallout. Both will be measured by what they do with the next snap. If you want the image to take away, the kid who almost saved the game and the coach who said without pretense, "That's on me," that line will echo, and so will the answer when it comes. ESPN.com.